What up, peeps? What's up? I am back. Sorry I didn't do a video yesterday. Just something I kind of time. So today I am gonna be doing two videos. So I am doing the Godzilla the series discussion right now, and then later tonight I'm gonna be not tonight. It's gonna be later today, like when I normally do videos. I am gonna be reviewing Child's Play, the original. So, but right now I am we're gonna be discussing Godzilla the series, which is this was based off the 1998 film. Well, because it got a lukewarm reception. When I talked about that in my review, I was like, I love the movie personally. It's shouldn't have been called Godzilla, but I love it personally. It's a fun monster movie, but it got a lukewarm reception. So Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin got together with Fox Kids or whoever made the series, and this is what we got. And we got Godzilla the series. This came out the same year, had two seasons. Um, I watched a little bit of it as a kid, because about the same time I had some merch from the '98 movie. I did have I did watch some of the animated series, and the animated series was just great because it was. Um, Sorry, I was some of my glasses. Um, the animated series was it's took place. So I'm not gonna be reviewing every episode. That's just because it's gonna take too long. So what I'm gonna be doing is more of like an overview discussion about it. So the show came out a few months after the movie. The very first episode almost takes place right where the movie kind of ends. Like it does show you a bit of the quick chase with Zilla in the final act, and but then you get to where the egg hatches, and then this is where we're introduced to the team. You have Nick, who, in my opinion, I think Nick Topless is a lot better in here. He's like a little bit more charismatic as a leader. You have Elsie Chapman from the movie, and then you have Craven from the movie. He was the dude who did the summer cold joke. He does look a bit different. That's the only somewhat continuity errors. Some of these characters look like Craven didn't have long hair in the movie. In the movie, he just, and this was be like right after, but whatever. It's the same guy who did the voice. Kevin Dunn, who was Hicks in the film, does play Hicks in the show. So it is kind of cool. You got some people from the movie. Um, Audrey shows up from time to time, but you can even tell in the show they make her like way more unlikable. I feel like because I think that was a criticism of her character in the '98 film was that she's kind of an unlikable bitch, where they like try to portray her as innocent. So in this, they have her go kind of be more of a full on bitch. We are introduced to new characters like Monique, who works with Philippe. So the same agency that probably Philippe works for, who Philippe makes a return in one of the episodes. I think it was the episode where the creature was called a. Hold on, I have the list of the monster names. I don't want to just say this monster. You had like a creature that basically is like a chameleon that can it can like shapeshift, and it took the shapeshift of the original Zilla Jr. to make Zilla Jr. look bad. That was a really good episode. Like there are some really good episodes and just all around. So Philippe makes a return in that episode, but you have Monique who works for him. You have Randy who's good at like hacking basically, because that was you got to remember this was the late '90s, and that was there was a lot of hacker movies at the time, where you always had like a hacker character in a cartoon or anything in that time period. You always had to have a hacker character, like someone who's like super good with. Even to this day, you kind of have that like you have to have somebody who's like good with a computer, and I think he's a good character. All these characters are good. Is it a great animated series? Like it's obviously not up there with like Batman the animated series, or like any of the DC animated series, or the old Marvel stuff like X-Men. It's not up there, but I do love this show, and you can tell they make it more like traditional Godzilla. Like Zilla Jr. has atomic breath. He's impervious to like missiles and shit. He's fighting monsters. And you can even tell some monsters are kind of based off of some of the Toho ones. Like you have a Quetzalcoatl, which was basically a. It's supposed to be like a pterosaur, like a god, but you could tell it's basically like this, universe is Rodan. You have I'm trying to think of another one. You have Cyberzilla, which is Mecha Godzilla, but instead it's more of a cyborg. But yeah, so Cyberzilla is that's like when I think of this show, he's one of the big ones. It's basically these aliens take the body of the original Zilla from the first movie and they bring him back as a cyborg. And they so Nick, um, Randy, Elsie, Craven, and Monique are the Heat, and they basically are called, because other mutations and monsters show up. So they show up, and basically Zilla. I will say in the show, Zilla is basically a Deus Ex Machina. Like when the team's in trouble, Zilla shows up to the scene. It's very like that. So yeah, it's kind of, and you can argue a lot of the episodes are very. They have the same kind of formula. They're called to whatever location because a monster, and then they get into squabbles. Zilla Junior shows up to fight. Zilla Junior gets beat up or something happens to where the monster escapes. Then then Heat fights the monster again. Then Zilla shows up, beats the monster. End of show. So yeah, the shows are very formulaic. I'm not gonna deny that, and I'm not gonna deny there's no real character growth in a lot of these characters. Like they give little teases, like Craven and they kind of make trying to tease like Craven and Elsie or a thing a little bit. They definitely do it with Randy and Monique. Like they're little things like that, but they don't go all out with it. Well, you also got to remember this show ended in 2000. It only had two seasons. I think they wanted a third season. It just didn't, it just didn't happen because I think it just wasn't bringing in ratings. Like, because it was competing against shows like Digimon. I'm trying to think what else was on at the time. Transformers, Beast Wars. It was just a lot of other stuff that just, unfortunately, like it got canceled. But I like a lot of the monster designs. Like you had a giant worm episode. You had some aliens. You had an episode where he gets captured by like this fighting league of monsters guy. It's like almost like a monster. This one episode was like this guy kidnaps Zilla and basically brings Zilla to like this monster because he has like this monster fighting thing. It's a really you had some good episodes, man. You know, this in all intents and purposes is like Godzilla 2 or Zilla 2 or whatever you want to call it, like the sequel to the '98 film. You know, um, yeah, you had like a lot of unique monsters. You had like giant rats. You had a giant shrew that like could cause tornadoes. You had a giant cobra. Then you had a giant robot Yeti thing that basically was almost like a homage to King Kong in a way. Like you had a lot of monsters, but they basically it ended. There was a few unaired episodes. A lot of people like there's a lot of people who talk about this series like, oh, I grew up with this series and stuff like that. It was made because it was honestly made to quell like to the negative reaction to the '98 film. So we got this show, and I love it. It's very fun. Like I said, I obviously probably can't stretch this video to like 30 minutes because it's just the episodes are very much the same, but it's awesome show. I love the characters. I love the dynamic. I love the like different locations too. I love that like one episode they'll go to like Mexico, one episode they'll go to Arizona, one episode they'll go to like Japan. It was just like the different locations are cool, and you feel bad for the characters. And like I said, yeah, the episodes I will not deny are kind of formulaic, very much. But like, there are cartoons that are like that. you have your exceptions. Like a lot of the DC cartoons are not like that. They very much, though some episodes are different from each other, but definitely like, but you know what? That doesn't inherently make this show horrible. I love this show, and I personally, I got back into like early this year, where I just because a lot, pretty much all the episodes are on YouTube, so you can watch it on YouTube right now. I mean, if you're one who didn't like the '98 movie, I would say watch this movie because watch this show because this show almost like justifies the '98 movie existing. Even if you didn't love it as a movie, you at least got this awesome cartoon that's more like traditional Godzilla. I mean, it's fun monster action. Obviously, it's not as good as like the legendary Godzilla movies we're getting now, but it's an awesome show, and I think that's really all I got to say about it. Really, this um, we'll definitely like I might do a continued discussion of this maybe, but yeah, I'm gonna take a hit and then so later today I am gonna be reviewing the first Child's Play. So we're gonna be starting Child's Play series tonight, and then tomorrow, which tomorrow I think is Friday. So tomorrow on Friday we will be ranking the Friday the 13th films. But the video I will probably do that ranking like probably the same time as I did this video today. So yeah. Um, so other than that, those are my two next big things going on. And then next week we will continue with Child's Play. We'll probably just finish out the Nightmare movies because we're close to. We got like only think three more. We got uh, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, Freddy vs. Jason, and then yeah, the remake. So I got three more. So I'll probably just do those next week, and then I'll see if I can squeeze in the DCU ranking also. But other than that, that's my schedule for the next week. But I'll talk to you guys later tonight or today. Other than that, peace.